Welcome to the DDP Entertainment Report. My name is Jean-Claude Lafont. Jean-Claude with DDP Studios, and we are here with the Canada Music Fest, and we're here with Acres of Lions with Dan from members of the band, and one of our favorite songs that we've been playing on the DDP radio show called Dance Sequence. And so Dan, wow, how excited are you being here now again?
It's so good to be here. This is our 5th time doing it, so we are just so excited. I mean, we got a run of how things are working, but I mean, we're ecstatic. It's always so good. Like, you walk in the lobby here and you meet everybody that you know, everybody you see. Like, it's just like you go 10 steps, you got to give somebody else a hug and a kiss, and so we're so happy about just being here with all of our friends and our peer group.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it's a big party too, in a sense, because that's rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that everybody who works in the industry, the music industry. We like to socialize. That's right. So we're always going out. We always like having a couple beers, and so that we just chat. I mean, I don't think that anybody's turned on their TV in their hotel room, because there's always somebody to talk to, and there's somebody's story who's interesting or whatever like that. You know, and you can just run around all day and just tell stories. Yeah.
So now, the Dance Sequence video, that's obviously an older video. Now, you got a new album coming out?
We have a new album coming out April 2nd. It's called Homes. It comes out on Cordova Bay Records in Canada. We're really, really excited about it. We recorded it in Toronto with Brian Moncars. Oh, nice. And so he's a great guy, and he approached us about doing the album, and he's just like, I think we could make a great album together, and we did. I mean, we're really proud of it. It's our 3rd record, so we're just really excited we get an opportunity to do it once more, right? Things are still going good, Right.
So the other question I want to ask, and I always ask this to bands all the time, is where did you get the title? What's the history behind Acres of Lions? How did you come up with the title? Seriously.
Well, we were when we were younger, we started this band. Me and Jeffrey had it with our original drummer Lewis, and we were hanging out, and we had a big show coming up, our very first show. That was going to be September 6th, 2006, and there was projected to be 600-700 people there. And so we were kind of nervous, and we had no idea for a name. Naming a band is the worst thing you could ever do, because Led Zeppelin's already taken. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's right.
And so we asked our friend Jory McKay from The Set, and we were just at a house party having a keg or whatever, having a couple beers, and we're like, Jory, name our band. He goes, Acres of Lions. Lions are really hip right now. And we're like, wow, that's better than anything else. And then we hummed and hawed over it for a couple days, and he was going to take the name and put it into one of his hardcore joke projects. He thought that was the best name for his joke screaming hardcore band. Yeah. So, but we just took it and ran with it. And I mean, one of my favorite Dave Grohl quotes, he says, well, if I would have known I was going to be in the Foo Fighters for 10 years, I would have picked a better name. And, I don't feel like that necessarily, but I'm still I think about it. I'm like, that's goofy, because people are like, how many lions is that? I'm like, I don't know. They're just 3 words that didn't sound bad together.
Oh, so it's just one of those things, It was just over a keg, and then you just kind of
he just blurted it out, and we were like, well, it's better than anything else. And so, it was just funny. And Tyson, our guitar player, will tell a couple different stories about how it came to be, but I don't know. It's just there's never a good way to name a band. There's never that magical story. Everybody wants to know, but at the same time, you listen. There's very, very few band names that you're like, wow, that's a good story.
That's right. That's right. But you know what? It is still a good story, because it came out from at a point where you needed the title for the band, and then it came out. But I'm glad you told me, because I'm looking Acres of Lions. It gives me a vision of an acre full of lions screaming and roaring. So, but you guys really do roar on stage. When it comes to wisdom and ethics and art, because our corporation deals with this a lot, because we make thinking fun. One of the things I want to ask you is, what kind of wisdom, what kind of ethics do you have as far as an artist, so far?
Well, we called our first record "Working," and that was because me and Jeff we've always just our parents instilled a hard work ethic into us. Like we get up in the morning, we'd go to work all day, and then we went and jammed all night, and we'd play shows, and we wouldn't sleep, and we would just like as far as like ethics. I mean, we believe in working hard and just doing what feels good and what feels the best for you at any given time. And for us, like even though we always talk about it, what if we became a famous band or we won the lottery, we'd still have jobs. They would be fun jobs, but we'd own a bar or a record store or something and show up there and work for 12 hours. Like, and I mean, that's one thing that our parents instilled on us and other bands. We see a lot of other Canadian bands, and there's no good band that doesn't work hard.
That's right.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just right now, none of us have day jobs. So, I mean, like, I'm up at 9 a.m. and I'm here and I'm doing work, right? And then I'll be working until 4 a.m. and you're always doing something,
Yeah. Do you think sometimes that people get this disillusionment about bands too, and musicians as a whole? That you guys just hang around limousines and drink all day and have cigars, and you're not like you obviously you work hard at your craft. So could you share that with some of our viewers, so that to younger bands like Wisdom, to share them that you do have to work at your craft?
Well, I mean, like the hanging out in limos and party, I mean, that doesn't really happen, but it happens in a way. I mean, you have the funnest job in the world, and you enjoy every minute of it, right? Like sitting here getting to talk to people like you, it's great. Awesome. And I mean, like, but the thing is just make sure you got your head on straight. You know what you're doing. You know where you have to be. Don't be late. Right? Those are things that are really important. Just take a professional attitude. Yeah. But you can have this job and smile the whole entire day, all the time, right? I mean, life is so great and so wonderful all the time if you look at it in a positive light. I mean, like, but the fact of the matter is we're in Canada. You play Montreal, then you play Thunder Bay, and that's not a short drive. And we're from Victoria, BC, and we drive out to Toronto frequently. And I mean, it's like my days consist of getting up early, driving all day, and then playing a show and playing the best show of my life, and then going to bed and getting up and doing it again, right? Like it's not all hanging out, but I mean, at the same time, you get to hang out lots, right? Like
personally, what's your drive as an artist? Like, what's your muse? What's your drive to do this?
When I was younger, like I started playing guitar when I was 6 or 7 or something like that. My dad had bought me one, and we started learning together. And I just when I play a G chord or play my bass or something like that, it feels good. And that's just always been I've always liked listening to music and learning about the process. And I mean, like, and just going to see live shows. I love seeing live bands, and I mean, I think my inspiration is just everybody else. In the Canadian music industry works hard. I mean, like, there's no one guy I look up to and go, I'm going to be like him. And there's no end goal either. It's not like, well, we're going to play Rogers Arena, we're going to play GM Place. It's like, well, maybe no. We're just going to play. We're going to play the Rivoli, and it's going to be great. We're going to play the Dakota, and it's going to be awesome. And like, we're really, really satisfied with where we are right now as a band.
Yeah. It's just a matter of just doing it, I guess. Yeah. As a musician too, I wanted to ask you more of some of the personal stuff in your life as far as a musician. Do you feel that sometimes as being an artist is like breathing? You have to do it every single day. Is that the case for you?
When I wake up in the morning, it's kind of like being on. Like, you got to be on when you wake up, right? Because you never know who you're going to meet on the subway or in a cab or wherever you're going to be, right? And you don't want to be the guy who's grumpy and hungover in the morning, right? You got to make sure that like it does tire you out, because you're always just looking for a way to further yourself and to schmooze. And I mean, especially at big conferences like this. But like, I'll go to A&W or McDonald's, and I'll talk to the cashier for 5 minutes and be like, hey, I like that pin, or I like that T-shirt, and it's like. Yeah, no, like it is like breathing. I mean, like, and I don't know what I would do without it. Like, because we're always doing something. We're always playing, and when we get any time off, it takes me a couple days to like finally relax and get out of band mode. Yeah. Right? Because when I finally go and lie down in bed for a couple days, it's like, whoa, like the world can just stop spinning for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
But then after about 2 or 3 days of that, I get itchy, and I'm like, let's go do it.
Is it hard to take a vacation?
There is no such thing as vacation. Even if I would never go someplace warm. Like, the vacations are all working vacations. Like, I've never been anywhere personally. I've been everywhere with a band, but I've never been like, let's go down to Cuba and hang out for 2 weeks. Let's go to Mexico. No, it's like, I don't even think I would enjoy that. I would just have my laptop and I would be tweeting out to people. On the beach, right? I wouldn't be like, okay, cool, let's like relax. I don't know. Like, it's just, you got to be doing stuff all
the other time. Question I wanted to ask you about technology, because of the onset of the internet and because television and the internet, and there's this big debate going on between. I find that technology is actually a positive thing, in that, like, as a young artist yourself, do you find that it's a great time to live? I mean, you're able to put your your video on YouTube,
Yeah,
and you know.
I mean, it's definitely changing because I mean, we kind of came from the early transition period. I remember Napster coming out. I remember the first time I ever saw video on the internet because you couldn't even like. I remember the internet was not fast enough. And when we first started booking tours, Jeff, my lead singer, used to have a whiteboard in his basement, and he would call up, say he would call up some bar somewhere and be like, "Can we play Thursday, March 22nd?" And they'd be like, "Okay, cool." Like write that in, and then we'd call them a week before the show. Still confirmed, and then we'd get a road atlas, and I'd sit there and be like, "Okay, we gotta go on the 401 now or wherever," and we'd map it out. And now everybody has an iPhone, and everybody has everything else, and it's so easy to do things. Like I remember we cut our first record. We had to do it on like when we were like kids. We found this guy who had an old 2-inch tape. Yeah, and that's how we did our first couple songs, like when we were 17 or whatever. And now it's just kind of like you go into a studio or like, I know guys with MacBooks that make records that sound great, and so I mean, it does, I think it dilutes it a little bit because everybody can do anything. Like you don't have to be, it takes a different skill set than necessarily being a good musician, but at the same time, it makes it easier for the cream to rise to the top. You hear about the good bands. You hear about the bands that are doing well because they're good.
That's right.
Right? It doesn't matter how many Facebook followers you got or Twitters or whatever it is. The cream will rise to the top. You could be the best band in the world, and two people could like you.
Yeah, so talent and skill and craftsmanship really shows, in live concerts, really. That's when I could tell when a good band is. It's time to pitch it, man. When are you performing next, and what's your website?
So you can find anything, go to Google Acres Alliance or acresalliance.com. We're playing on the, I guess it would be too late now, we're playing tonight on the 22nd at Transac, and then we're playing the Mod Club May 3rd. Yeah, so we'll be driving back through, playing May 3rd at the Mod Club. We're opening up for Kingsfoil, which has Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle playing drums, and it's going to be Thunderhawk as well. So we're really, really excited about that one. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a drive. We're flying back in a week and then just driving back out and just grinding her. But definitely check us out on the internet, like us on Facebook, interact with us, because that's what we love to do, is to interact. Like if you tweet at us, so if we all got our phone, we're sitting in the back of the van, we're going to be tweeting back and interacting with our fans. Is one of my favorites.
Dan, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for this interview. This has been awesome. I really appreciate it. Check you out tonight at the 10th.
You will stay on my conscience. You will reside in every man.